Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture. See how those incidents affect our daily lives. Listen, y'all ain't told me nothing. That's how I'm going to start this. You all have not told me nothing. Well, and partly it's my fault because I've been so fixated on getting the information about this Justin Baldoni case that I have uh, been derelict in my duties to give you all some TV series reviews. All right, so before we even start, y'all hit that like button and share if you feel like you need to care. And we'll get into it. So, what we're going to review today is episodes 1 through 4 of Paradise. Paradise is showing on Hulu, and it stars Sterling K. Brown as Xavier Collins, Julianne Nicholson as Sinatra. We've got a whole host of other people. We've got Cal Bradford, who is James Marsden, who is Cal Bradford. He is the president. So let's get into this information. So once we start, we're going through episode 1, which is Wildcat is Down. Episode 2, Sinatra. Episode 3, The Architect of Social Well-Being. And episode 4, Agent Billy Pace. So let's get into it. So as this series, now this is a spoiler-ish review. So I'm going to give you just enough to get you excited about going to see this. Now go see this. Sterling K. Brown, if you like your man chocolate, if you like to see a strong leading man, Sterling K. Brown is your man. Okay, so let's continue. So this episode starts off uh with Sterling K. Brown. He is a secret service agency agent. And so he is there to protect the president. That's his job. He looks a little sullen when he's protecting this president. And I'm just thinking, oh, okay, because, it's one of those tireless jobs that you got to take a bullet. And we find out that he does take a bullet for this particular president. And this is what aligns the president is as someone he can trust. This man has a very good high moral compass. And this is something that the president is endearing to. So what happens, really basically the whole first episode is showing you that this president, who's played by James Marsden, is pruned from the timeline. And everyone's trying to figure out, how did this president get pruned from the timeline? Because he's got round-the-clock Secret Service. Sterling K. Brown's character, whose name is Xavier, he was the last person to actually physically see him, besides the killer, alive. And so he is trying to figure out what is going on. And so as we get into this, we start seeing this, and I started noticing some things that were a little different. I'm like, where are they? They must be at the White House. Maybe they're at Camp David. Maybe they are someplace else, because this doesn't give us a White House feel. And I'm like, where are these people at? And so as we go on, and I let that sit in the back of my mind. So as we go on, we see all the consequences of stuff going on. We see that they are about to get I'm assuming that he was the vice president. They're about to swear him in as the president. And there's this one lady who they call Sinatra. She's like running everything. I thought she was my initial thought for her was she was the chief of staff. So I'm sitting here like, okay, the chief of staff is trying to get everything worked out, everything moving, all of this stuff. Then we find out at the end is that they are not where you think that they're supposed to be. They are all living in an underground bunker, because apparently the rest of the world has been eradicated. And so it's about 35,000, maybe 40,000 people are living underground, because there's been something that climate change. They haven't exactly told me what has gone on, but there's something that has gone on with what's going on at the top, that these people are living basically in a cave, and they have a whole civilization down in this cave. Now, I will tell you this: for these people to have these people, there's select few, and these people are there. It had to do with all the different scientists, and everybody was basically saying that the world is about to come to a certain end. And so there's going to be climate change. There's going to be a lot of stuff. A lot of the scientists and everything have said this. So Sinatra, who is played by Julianne Nicholson, she is apparently she is a rich tech woman. She's made 13, 14, 15 billion dollars in her first thing. So she is one of the richest of the rich. And she has assembled this team of experts, people who know about urban planning, people who know how to dig out a hole, people who know how to uh, assemble which psychiatrists that know how to assemble people who would be there. There's a whole situation that's going on. Because so the first episode dealt with the fact that the president has been killed. And so everyone's trying to figure out how the president got killed, simply because they're in an underground bunker. People are living in this underground bunker. There's video cameras everywhere they need to be. He's got round the clock Secret Service protection, and yet he still gets killed. And Xavier is the head of his Secret Service. Sterling K. Brown thing is the head of his Secret Service. So we have that going on. Plus the fact that we have going on the fact that there is a whole community living underground. Because there's like, I'm gonna call the disaster a nuclear holocaust. I can't be sure that that's what's happening, but that's what I'm gonna call it. So now we have Xavier, who is trying to figure out who killed the president. Now, initially, everyone tried to make it seem like he was the one that had done it, but once they have done their investigation, excuse me, they realized that he was not the killer. They had a couple of other different people who were in the scope, but it's not panning out. So you have one Secret Service agent. Let me see if I can get her name real quick. Robinson, played by Chris Marshall. She was having a secret liaison affair with the president. She was technically there, and then she left. And so she's then since she is the head of the Secret Service, or she's the head of the security down in the bunker, and I'm gonna call it in the bunker. She is charged with trying to figure out who killed her lover. Now, Sinatra she seems to be the architect and the billionaire behind all of this. So she has a level of power down there that's unprecedented. She knows everything that's going on. All the people that are there were handpicked by her, and she allowed for her psychiatrist, who was assisting her with the death of her son. Apparently, her son died of some illness. They never told us what he died from, and she moved her psychiatrist in the person, as how people are jury people, they hire like a team that can figure out what juror that you need to pick on the case. So that's the way I look at this psychiatrist, who is Dr. Gabriella Tarabi, paid by Sarah is it Shahi? She's that person. So she pretty much handpicked the 40 or 50,000 people that are living down up under this bunker. And they're supposed to be, apparently they are supposed to be fielding what society is, or everybody is operating under the fact that there's nobody living up above ground. Everybody who is above ground is dead, and that they are the arbiters of humanity. They're the only people left. And so they have to figure out a society, being that they're the only people left in the world. There's children, there are people. So they're wanting these people to kind of jumpstart society. So we find out, a lot about Sinatra. She's married. She had 2 children. One of her children died. And then we start figuring out what is going on, how they all got there. And apparently, again, there's some disaster. I'm going to say nuclear holocaust, but I don't think that that's what it is. I guess it's climate change. It's a problem. whatever it is. Now we've got all of that. Now Xavier and the president were close. Now Xavier has some issues with the president simply because when the time came for everybody to get into the bunker, Xavier's wife wasn't in place, and I don't know if he asked the president to get her there or not. But anyway, she didn't make the plane to get there, so therefore, wherever she was, she perished. So he has some issues about that because now he's having to raise two children on his own. Now he has his ace boon coon, and his ace boon coon is Billy Pace. Now Agent Billy Pace is played by, let's get him down, John Beavers. Now, Agent Billy Pace, we find out that he's had a rough life. He's one of those. Now, I remember back in the 80s or 90s, they would do this particularly. So, what they would do back in the 80s and 90s was that kids and young adults that had some issues, like Billy Pace. Billy Pace apparently went to juvenile detention for pruning his uncle off the timeline. So kids like that, what they did is that they went to jail from being a kid, and then they were released at 21 because they weren't going to let that was their sentence. Because if you're sentenced as a juvenile, once you hit 21, unless they charged you as an adult, then you're supposed to get out of prison. And that's basically what happened. And so you had the government taking those particular kids that in all aspects used to have gang members, all of these different type of kids that they probably would have gone back and would have been recidivism back into jail. They would take these kids, they would use their instincts to prune people from the timeline, and they would train them and then send them out on missions. And so this is where you would get things like Blackwater, and I can't remember what the other name of the thing, but they would have all of these mercenaries. They would use former military people, but mostly the people that they had on their staff were people who were deemed to be derelicts of the society. And they would train them, and then they would hire them, and they would basically keep them there. Now my understanding now. This is just my opinion. I don't have this to know that this is facts or not. But a lot of times they would keep those particular people who come out of juvenile detention. They age out of juvenile detention, and their sentences is over with, and they're adults. They would grab them then, and then they would keep them. Like Suicide Squad, I guess would be the best thing that I can akin that to. And they would keep these young people, and they would train them to be more train them in their skill of pruning people from the timeline. And they would then allow for them to go across the world, and the campaigns that the government didn't want to be involved in, the government would hire these particular mercenary crews to go do what they need to do overseas, or take care of the things that they needed to take care of overseas. So we see that Agent Billy Pace is one of those people. However, he's established a bond with Xavier, and he looks at Xavier as his brother, and he looks at Xavier's kids as his nieces and nephew, and he is very akin to want to be with them. Now, why am I breaking it down like this? Because again, we've got to go back to who killed the president. They've already put in a new president, and he's neurotic as they can be. He's so scared that he's about to be assassinated that he's just like crying and just having a big old fit. Now, I will tell you that those that are living in the bunker believe that the president has died from natural causes. No one has told them that the president was assassinated. So again, we've got these little areas of where you want this utopian society, and people believing that everything is okay, and people are living okay, and no one has had any problems or anything like that. This is how they're working this society out. This is how Sinatra is working out this society, because though there is a president, she is technically the head, because she's the one whose money was spent to spearhead this whole thing, this underground bunker. And the way they have this underground bunker is so sophisticated. I mean, they have an artificial sun, Everybody is living and working and doing under I guess point system. They all have like little a bracelet that they have to, if they want an ice cream, they have to, scan the bracelet to get the ice cream. I don't think there's any type of, it's more like a barters type situation. Everyone has a service, or everyone has a service that they can do, and it's more of a barter system. It's really unique, and it makes me think about, what this makes me think about when they talk about the space that they have to do this. I don't know if you all are aware, but where is it? Is it in Colorado, Utah, somewhere up in those areas? There is a place where they house all this cheese because it used to be a mine. I guess it used to be a salt mine or something like that. They have renovated this salt mine, and they say that it's like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 football fields big. So there's this big, huge place underground that holds a lot of cheese. And that's the first thing I thought about when I really figured out that they're living underground, that there are several places in the United States that have spaces where you could literally hold a society in there. 15, 16, 17, 18 football fields, long and wide. You could put a whole city down there, a whole city. You could possibly, because they only have like, I think it's like 30 or 40,000 people. Technically, if you just did do single story homes, if that's all you had in there, that's all you could probably put. However, if you want to start putting in apartment complexes and things of that nature, maybe like 9 or 10 apartment complexes scattered around the outskirts of the town, and then have some housing, and then have some more high rises that probably go up 15 stories or something like that. You could probably house more people in there. But anyway, let's continue. So now we're trying to figure out again, this whole thing is about who killed the president, who got him got. And so Xavier is trying to figure it out. Xavier has some clues. The president has left some clues behind. Now, I didn't say at the beginning of this. One of the things that's interesting is that there is this particular hard drive that's given to the president that has all the information that's needed about the city, about how to restore. It's a whole hard drive with a whole lot of information. That hard drive has gone missing. Where is this hard drive? Xavier knows about it. Sinatra knows about it. The president knew about it. So they're trying to find that. So we have the agent, let me get her name again. Agent Robinson is trying to figure out who killed the president, and again, the president is her lover, trying to see who killed the president and where this information is at. So this is where we're at. We're trying to figure this out, and there's a lot of different things in regards to Xavier that he has to go in. Now, he meets up with the psychiatrist who was Sinatra's psychiatrist, grief psychiatrist, when her son had died. And the grief psychiatrist basically told Xavier that she was charged by the president that if anything happened to him, to get to Xavier, to let him know that there is a problem and someone has killed him, and for him to investigate and find out who it is. So Xavier is on that. He's straight on that path, and we're good for that. Now let's talk about Billy Pace. Now we find out during this Agent Billy Pace episode is that Billy Pace and another scientist went up top. And when they went up top, they realized they can breathe. They can breathe. There is no issues or problem upstairs. That's what I'm gonna call it, upstairs, up on land. And he ends up killing the scientists because he doesn't want them to go down there just yet, to let the people down there know that there's an issue or that they can go up top and breathe. And so that lets me realize that possibly Agent Xavier's wife might be still alive. Because see, they all went up underground. So it might be the fact that they're still alive and there's a civilization living up there. But nobody knows that but Agent Billy Pace. So he talks to Sinatra, And he's like, just leave me alone. Leave me out of this. Don't touch my family. Because again, Agent Xavier, played by Sterling K. John, is his family. And he don't want no problems. And he's like, and she's like kind of, she's kind of bold. She's like, I know you're a killer, and I know you're the biggest killer, but you mess around and defy me or whatever. And he's like, just bring your biggest, baddest killer. And it ended up Billy Pace gets killed. And who does he get killed by? Y'all go watch the show and come back with me and let me know if you know who killed Agent Billy Pace. Y'all, this is a good show. Y'all ain't told me nothing. Nothing. I'm not, like I said, I've done 4 episodes, just kind of briefly skipped the episode, teased at you about these episodes. Again, this is a spoiler-ish review because I want y'all to come back. All right. So that's episode 1, Wildcat is Down. Episode 2, Sinatra. Episode 3, The Architect of a Social Well-Being. And episode 4, Agent Billy Pace. Y'all let me know down in the comments if you are watching Paradise. What do you think? I'm getting ready to go watch 5, 6, and 7. So I could get caught up and I will bring it back to you. And then I think because it's only 8 episodes. So I'm going to go watch 5, 6, and I'm going to do 5, 6, and 7 together. And then we'll do episode 8 as the finale. Y'all let me know if y'all are enjoying this. Again, it is called Paradise. It is on Hulu. So if you have Hulu, if you have Disney Plus, you can watch Hulu. I don't know if you have Hulu, you can watch Disney Plus. It depends on the bundle that you have. The bundle that I have is Hulu, Disney Plus, and HBO Max for a year. So again, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell a heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. Again, we just reviewed seasons 1, episode 1 through 4 of Paradise. I'm getting ready to do episode 5. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this. If you all are watching it, tell me what you think about that. Tell me what you think about Sterling K. Brown out here looking like good old chocolate sundae. Mm, mm, mm. All right, people. Please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.